Welcome, everyone, to Cards on the Pond. You might have seen us before, and we are back. We had a little bit of a layoff and a change of podcast and video, but we are back. There's still some things we have to work out along the way, background, banners, and maybe even paying for StreamYard so that the Powered by StreamYard logo isn't in the corner, amongst other things. But Jimbo and I, Nate, are back with a brand new baseball card podcast called Cards on the Pond. A little play on words there. Cards, obviously, and then ducks on the pond added together. And you have a fun little, at least I think it's fun, little podcast name. So welcome everyone who is joining us for our introductory podcast and video. And thank you all for joining. And Jimbo, how are you doing?
Dude, I'm so glad to be back. This is going to be fun. We're going to be talking about baseball just like how we were before, but even more in depth, more often, different ways, on different platforms, all that good stuff. So we are pumped. We've been brainstorming for a while. So we're excited.
Yeah, we took a month off. Since I left Slab Stocks, I took a month and a week or so off, and Jimbo was at the National and everything, so we had to get through that. But we are ready to go. We're rearing to talk about sports. It's exciting. Obviously, not only do you have the All-Star break happened, the trade deadline happened, right? Plenty of baseball has happened since the last time we talked. The tacked baseball in Double-A went away, and now Jackson Chourio is back on path to stardom. So it's been there's been a ton of things that have happened, and we haven't covered any of it. But it's exciting to be back, and we're not gonna go back in time and cover things that happened. For those of you that are here, we're gonna move forward. Just know that Jackson Chourio is really good, and we keep going, right?
Oh man, yeah. There's been a lot of exciting stuff since last time we jumped on here, and the pre-tack baseballs. I can't wait to get into that.
I can't either. I should also mention that our drive here, and I think Jimbo will agree with me, our drive here for the Cards on the Pond podcast, Cards on the Pond YouTube videos, Cards on the Pond Instagram page, which you can go follow right now, Cards on the Pond on Instagram. There's only one post. It's an introductory post, but we will get to it. We plan on having, hopefully, a prospect of the day, and not maybe a prospect that you're generally like, oh yeah, I've heard a bunch about him, but different prospects that maybe you won't often see a lot about. We'll have a prospect of the day, other things on there. We want to get into, community type things, community phone calls, community message boards, whatever it might be. We want to kind of bring Cards on the Pond and our former podcast into one community-driven, baseball-driven. I don't really know what word I'm going for, but we want it to be community-driven. If you want us to talk about somebody, DM us, call us up, text us, email us. Whatever it might be, drop it on the YouTube comment, drop it on a podcast. Say, hey, I want to talk about this, or hey, I want to join your podcast and talk about this. Sweet. We'd love to have you. We have no strings attached to us. Nobody's sponsoring us, nothing. And so we can have anybody on whenever to talk about whatever you might want to talk about.
That's what's going to be fun about this because of that. The autonomy, we can do whatever we want. We can frame it. We can switch things up in an instant. We have that freedom now to kind of be able to do a lot of fun stuff like that. And we want to hear from you guys, what it is that you would prefer or what you would like. And for us, our roadmap, we have all these ideas. Nate and I, we have all these roadmap. And for us, we're going to try and narrow it down and try and implement, things here and there because it's just us two. So we're going to do it slowly. But if there are suggestions, maybe we can bump that up to the top. If there's certain players you want to talk about, one of us can jump on and just do like a one-off talking about a prospect. Like it's endless. So it starts with hearing, what it is people want to hear about. So
Yes, it does. And again, what you guys want to hear about is what we want to talk about. There will be times we talk about what we want to talk about, the Brewers. But otherwise, it's a community. That is what we're trying to drive here. Community of like-minded baseball fans and card collectors where we can come in and just talk to people that are like us. I spent a lot of the last couple of years covering base or basketball or football or soccer, to the point where like maybe the baseball community kind of dwindled a little bit. I am fully back.
he's
I am
back.
fully back in the baseball community. There is no covering other sports for me. We are just baseball focused. We are just baseball card focused. Jimbo has been that way. He does collect other cards. I collect other cards, but no covering any other sports unless it is an analogy that works into something. But otherwise, or if the Packers, Jordan Love's amazing, I will
No
probably bring that
chance.
up.
We will not be talking about that.
We
Guaranteed.
might.
Nope.
We might.
Hard no.
All right. Jimbo, the Lions fan, salty. He's worried Jordan Love's going to be good, but that's besides the point. We are looking forward to having a great time. Hopefully more than one podcast a week. We're hoping for two. Not quite sure on if one's going to be a prospect and one's going to be an MLB podcast or what we're going to do there. And also with work schedules, for whatever my next job might be, some stuff up in the air there as well. But we wanted to get out there, get this started, and get it underway. And so we are starting the Cards on the Pond podcast, and we couldn't be more excited.
We are ecstatic. And to keep this short and sweet, because we're gonna keep this as the first episode without too much context. What are we going to be talking about in our first official episode?
Ooh, let me show you. I can show you right here.
Maybe.
Maybe.
If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you go to YouTube and you can check this out.
All right, so here you go. Top 100 baseball prospects, MLB Pipeline. They just redid their rankings on Thursday night, I believe. They redid their rankings Thursday, the 10th of August. And you can see here, Jackson Holliday first, no surprise there, leads like the entire MLB or minor leagues in WRC plus, or as close anyways. And he's only 19. Jackson Chourio, Paul Skeens, and Dylan Cruz, who just got drafted, and so on and so forth down the line. Just a real quick sidebar. They also have top 30 by team. And I was looking at the Orioles and I was looking at the Brewers because I was just wondering how they stacked up. Because the Brewers have five top 100 prospects within the top 56, right?
Don't do it.
Wait. They also have 10 50 future value or better prospects on their top 30 list, which is the most I think I've ever seen for a Brewers team. And the Orioles, the vaunted Orioles, also have 10. So if the Brewers can kind of get into the Orioles atmosphere of being able to draft while also signing solid international prospects like Jackson Chourio and guys like that, and Jefferson Cuero, I am pumped. But anyways, that's for another time. This is what we will be talking about on our first episode next week. So join us at Cards on the Pond on YouTube, at Cards on the Pond on Spotify and Apple, I guess. I do have to upload the first podcast before I can actually see what Spotify and Apple will give me. But Cards on the Pond on YouTube. And then you can also follow along with us on Cards on the Pond on Instagram. And we will be sending out stories and posts and updates there. That'll be the easiest way to follow along with everything we might be doing audio and visual wise.
I'm pumped. That was the first, dude. We made it under 10 minutes.
I'm pumped too. All right. Well, that being said, everyone, we'll talk to you next week. And thanks for joining us.
Deuces.